These are my top 12 Amazon plant buys that I honestly don't think any plant parent should live without. Each one has made my life about 10 times easier and turned plant care from a chore into something that I actually look forward to. Now, they're all brilliant, but I've ranked them from 12 down to 1, with number 1 being my all-time favourite, just to spice things up a little bit. That was no easy task, by the way. It took me about an hour and I changed my top 3 at least 5 times, but let's crack on with number 12. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Number 12 on the list then is fungus gnat catchers. Now, I do love them, but they can't really go any higher on the list simply because they're so ugly. They completely ruin the look of your plant setup, don't they? You spend ages arranging your plants, maybe picking nice matching pots, and then you've got these bright yellow sticky tabs poking up everywhere like warning signs. They bring the whole aesthetic down, but sadly there's something I can't live without. The climate in my home means that I always seem to be fighting fungus gnats. Doesn't matter how careful I am with watering or soil choice, they always seem to find their way back. The catchers help me keep things under control and let me see how bad the problem actually is. If the traps start filling up quickly, then I know it's time to act. That's when I reach for the beneficial nematodes, which do a brilliant job of killing off the larvae in the soil. Once the nematodes kick in, I usually get a few months respite before the gnats make another appearance. They're not glamorous, but these catchers genuinely make a difference. I just hide them behind the pots and try not to look. Number 11 is a bit of an odd one, but it's genuinely one of my secret weapons. This little air blower that I originally bought for my camera gear. I know it sounds a bit of a strange choice for a plant item, but hear me out. Succulents have this delicate powdery coating on their leaves which is called farina. It's what gives them that soft, frosted look, and it actually helps protect them from the sun and reduce water loss. The problem is, once you wipe or smudge it off, it's gone for good. So when dust builds up, and it always does, cleaning them can be a real headache. That's where this little blower comes in. A few quick puffs of air and all that dust is gone, without having to touch the plant at all. It's so much gentler than using a cloth or a brush, and you'd be amazed how clean your succulents look afterwards. It's a small, inexpensive gadget, but it saves so much time and keeps my plants looking pristine without risking any damage. Definitely worth trying if you've got a collection of succulents. Number 10 on the list are these terracotta watering spikes. These are a brilliant invention for anyone who's ever gone away for a few days and come home to find their plants looking like they've survived the desert. They're simple and surprisingly effective. Here's how I used them. I grab last night's empty bottle of Pinot Grigio, give it a quick rinse and fill it with water. Then I pop a terracotta spike into the neck of the bottle and turn it upside down into the soil. The porous clay slowly releases water as the soil dries out, keeping the plant hydrated just enough without flooding it. It's not something I'd use all the time because, let's be honest, it's not the prettiest look. Having wine bottles sticking out of your pot doesn't exactly scream interior design, but when you're heading away for a few days, it's a lifesaver. Number 9 is aquarium tweezers. Now, I originally bought these when I was toying with the idea of starting an aquarium channel. But that dream died pretty quickly once I realised that I barely have room for my plants, never mind the tank. Still, it turned out to be a happy accident because these tweezers are incredibly useful for plant care too. They're long and surprisingly precise, which makes them perfect for getting into awkward spaces that your fingers just can't reach. I use them most often with my succulents to remove those crispy old leaves that gather around the base of the plant. You know the ones, too delicate to pull out without snapping something, but too annoying to leave there collecting dust. The tweezers make it effortless though. They're also handy for tidying up around plants with spines or tight growth like cacti or compact philodendrons where you want a gentle touch. Number 8 is the pump sprayer. This one has been an absolute game changer for me, especially this year where I've been dealing with a full-on spider mite invasion. I used to rely on one of those little hand spritzers to apply pesticides, but after a few plants, my hand would be cramping up like I'd just arm wrestled the rock. Switching to a pump sprayer has made life so much easier. You just pump it a few times to build pressure, then it sprays a lovely even mist with barely any effort. The coverage is far better than with a regular spritz bottle, which is crucial when you're trying to fight off a spider mite army. You need that mist to reach the underside of the leaves where those tiny pests like to hide.
Mind you, I don't think I've found a pesticide that does a great job of getting rid of spider mites. If you have a recommendation, then do please leave it in the comments.
Number 7 is the humble hygrometer.
Plant people, myself included, seem to have a bit of an obsession with humidity. You see it all the time online, don't you? Everyone misting their plants, hoping to create a little tropical paradise. The truth is, all that misting barely moves the needle. You're far better off actually knowing what you're working with and choosing plants that will thrive in your environment instead of constantly fighting against it.
And that's where this little gadget comes in. The hygrometer tells you exactly what the humidity is in your space, and once you know that, you can make smarter choices. Knowledge really is power here. I discovered that mine usually sits around 60 to 70%, which does mean I'm lucky enough to grow most plant types quite happily.
If yours is down at 10 or 20%, then there's no point torturing yourself trying to keep a calathea alive. Go for plants that actually enjoy those conditions instead.
Your life would be so much easier. A hygrometer takes the guesswork out of plant care. Before we jump into number 6, if you've been thinking about building a website for your business, your services, or even that passion project you keep putting off, today's sponsor Squarespace really is the easiest place to get started. What I love is how quickly you can go from an idea to something that looks genuinely professional. Their Blueprint AI builder takes a bit of info about what you do and turns it into a fully custom website in a few steps. You can tweak everything with simple drag and drop tools. Or you can start with one of their award-winning templates and make it your own. It all just looks good straight away. You also get proper SEO tools built in and the analytics you need to see who's visiting and what's working. And if you want to offer something extra, be it online courses, memberships, or even custom merch, you can do all of that right inside Squarespace. They even make it easy to claim the perfect domain for your brand with no hidden fees.
Head to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use code Sheffield for 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Number 6 is one of my absolute favourites, the light meter. I honestly think that this is one of the most underrated tools that a plant parent can own.
Light is everything. It's hands down the most important part of plant care, and without enough of it, your plants will never truly be happy.
I don't care how much you water, fertilise or talk to them. If the light isn't right, nothing else matters. Even so-called low-light plants like the ZZ plant will sulk in the dark.
The problem is our eyes are terrible at judging brightness. A room might look beautifully bright to us, but to a plant it can be like living in permanent twilight.
That's where this little gadget comes in. A light meter gives you actual numbers to work with, so you can see exactly how much light your plants are getting.
I like to read mine in foot candles. Anything above 400 is generally decent for most houseplants, while bright light lovers will want even more.
Once you start using one, you'll realise how much your plants have been trying to tell you all along.
It's a simple tool, but it completely changes how you understand your space. Number 5, we're getting into the big hitters now, the Sansi grow lights. I couldn't leave these out. I've got a dozen of them dotted around the house and they've completely changed where I can keep my plants.
Before, certain corners of my living room were basically a no-go zone for anything green. Now, with these lights, even the spots miles away from the window are bursting with life.
The plants above my TV, for example, are practically living off them, and you can see how much they've grown. They're proper LED grow lights, which means they give off the right spectrum of light for photosynthesis, but don't drain your wallet when it comes to energy bills.
If you've got a dark corner and you're trying to keep plants happy through winter, then these are a total game changer.
They've allowed me to keep so many more varieties than I otherwise could.
You can get them on Amazon, but if you use my link in the description, you'll get a 25% discount directly with Sansi instead.
Number 4 is the humble potting tray.
It's funny how many comments I get about the absolute chaos I make on the table when I'm repotting plants. Truthfully, I do own a potting tray, I just forget to use it half the time.
When I actually remember though, it's brilliant. It's such a simple bit of kit, but it makes the whole process so much tidier. The high sides keep the soil all contained, and when you're done you can just tip everything back into the bag.
It also saves your table from getting scratched or stained, which makes Mr. Sheffield very happy.
If you've ever found soil in weird places hours after potting up a plant, you'll appreciate how much this thing helps keep the chaos contained.
We've made it to the top 3, and honestly these could be in any order. I changed my mind about them several times before finally settling on this list. Number 3 though is something that won't surprise any long-time subscribers because I never stop talking about it. It's an absolute essential for any plant parent. Yep, the moisture meter.
This little device completely takes the guessing game out of watering. You just stick it in the soil and it tells you instantly whether the plant needs water or not.
Its brilliance is in how simple and effective it is. It saved me from overwatering more times than I can count. It was brilliant for planting awkward spots where you can't easily tell how damp the soil is.
For example, the plant on the shelf above my TV. I've got no clue how wet the soil is up there, and lifting the pots isn't an option without risking a landslide. The moisture meter is a lifesaver for that. It gives me confidence that I'm not drowning or drying out my plants. If you only buy one gadget for your plants, do make it this one.
Number 2 is one you'll have seen me use plenty of times in my videos, and I always get questions about where I got them from. And honestly, I wish I could tell you. I think Mrs. Sheffield picked them up from a local florist wholesaler, but it's been so long that neither of us can remember. What I do know is that we both fight over them every time plant maintenance day comes around.
I'm talking about these little Japanese flower scissors. They might look small and delicate, but they're unbelievably sharp and precise. Absolutely perfect for trimming dead leaves, taking cuttings, or tidying up a plant without crushing the stems. They feel light as a feather in the hand and beautifully balanced, making pruning jobs feel so much more satisfying.
For bigger cuts, you might want to reach for a pair of secateurs, but for anything else, I'll stick to these. Now, I've not been able to find this exact pair on Amazon, but if you just search for Japanese flower scissors, similar items should come up. Here we are then, my number 1 plant care item. Can you guess what it is? Go on, pause the video and drop your guess in the comments down below. Time's up. This is something that I discovered a couple of years ago thanks to a subscriber of this channel, and I've been grateful ever since.
It's made such a difference to some of my fussiest plants. You know, the usual culprits, calophyas, spider plants, anything that throws a tantrum the moment you give them tap water. I'm talking about water conditioner. A single drop in your watering can instantly removes chlorine and other toxins from tap water, making it safe and gentle for your plants.
Before I started using it, I was always battling crispy leaf edges or mysterious browning that I could never quite explain.
Since switching to conditioned water, those problems have pretty much disappeared. I say pretty much because, you know, it's not magic. It won't stop me from forgetting to water every month. It's one of those simple, affordable solutions that transforms your plant care routine. No waiting around for water to sit out overnight. If you've ever struggled with sensitive plants, then do give it a go.
If you liked this ranking style video, then watch this one next where I ranked all my plants from hardest down to easiest. I'll see you there.